This recipe is for Shelleys white bread. This is a large recipe, but you can quarter it or half it. I will give those instructions in the comments. The full recipe will require 4 cups of warm water, 1 packet or 2 tablespoons of yeast, half a cup of butter or margarine, half a cup of white sugar, and approximately 8 cups of flour, give or take. It's always good to have some extra on hand. And you'll want some kind of spray oil or grease. And then you'll want 4 cups of warm water. Make sure to test the water so it's not too hot or too cold, but you just want it just above room temperature. So 4 cups of that. And then you will add your packet of yeast or 2 tablespoons and your sugar, half cup sugar, and you will just mix that up and then let it sit for about 10 minutes till it starts to kind of get fluffy on top and you don't see the little specks of yeast anymore. Then you'll want to put about half of your flour into a bowl and then melt your margarine or butter and add it to your yeast water sugar mixture. And then you will add that liquid mixture into your bowl. So you just want to create a well for that, which is just a little dip in the flour, and then just pour it in and then just scrape out the sugar if there's any at the bottom of your bowl. Sometimes that happens, it'll just kind of set. The next step, you'll want to just kind of mix it up. You can use a spoon, but it's just as easy with your hand as long as your hands are clean. So you just want to mix it up. And then you'll want to add some more of the flour, just kind of slowly. And then just keep mixing till it all comes together. Your fingers will feel kind of nice and sticky, and the dough will probably still be sticky. So it's good to have some extra flour on hand just in case. I think in total we ended up using about 9 cups of flour. So you'll want to just keep mixing it with your hand until the dough really starts to come together and form a dough. This is a little bit tiring on your hands, but trust me, it's worth the effort. So now that your dough's kind of come together, you want to knead it, which kind of involves some folding and punching action. It'll start to look like something pretty quickly. You can kind of peel the dough off your hands and add some more flour until it's not sticky anymore. You can also do this on your countertop on a flour surface if that's easier for you, but to minimize mess and cleanup, we just keep everything in the bowl. So once your dough kind of looks like this, you just want to keep doing this for about maybe a minute or 2. It just helps. And then take the dough out of the bowl for a second and then add some oil, or you can even use spray oil. Then just grease the inside of your bowl, and then you can put your ball of dough back in the bowl and then just kind of form it nicely to a ball, and then rub some oil, or if you have spray oil, you can spray some oil on top of it. This is just so that while it's rising, it won't stick to the bowl or to whatever you're using to cover it. So now you want to just put your bowl in a warm area. That could be your stovetop or in your turned off oven with a light on. You just want to cover it and let it sit for up to an hour or so. And so you can use several different types of pans. You can use a loaf pan, baking sheet, muffin tin, anything that is oven safe. You just want to grease it. And so now that it's about an hour or so later, You are ready to uncover the dough, and as you can see, it has doubled in size. So now you get to punch it down. So you can use this as an opportunity to take out some of your frustrations or have some fun. And you can just start folding it. You just want to knead the dough a little bit more, and then depending on what kind of pan you're using, you can consider how you are going to shape it. If you're using a muffin tin, you want to just take smaller balls of the dough and kind of fold them so that they look nicely, and you just place them in your muffin tin. So just continue this step until you fill in the whole tin. And then once the whole pan is full, you want to just put in that same warm area to let it rise. Now, if you have a loaf pan, whether it be tin or glass, we like to do it in 2 little sections, but you can also just use one big blob. But you just want to have it so that it fills the pan about halfway, because you want to allow room for rising. And then if you have a cookie sheet or just a plain flat pan, you can make kind of like a French loaf shape or a round loaf shape. You just want to kind of form it and plop it down on your pan, and boom, there it is, ready to go. So again, you just want to let these things rise for another like half an hour to an hour. You just want to cover them with a tea towel or an apron or even a tablecloth, whatever you have. Just that makes them lighter and airier. So once that's done, voila, take off your apron and put them into your preheated oven at around 400 degrees for about 20 to 30 minutes. And once they look nice and golden like this, they're ready to take out. Now you can top them with some butter if you like. This just makes the crust softer, a little bit shinier, and it just adds to the deliciousness of the bread. So you can use a spatula. If you are bougie and have a brush, you can use a brush. A spoon also works great. And if all else fails, you can use your fingers. So the opportunities and the options are endless. You can also be fancy like us, and if you have some herbs or spices that you like, you can melt some margarine and blend it all together and pour that over your bread as well. This bread is your canvas, and you can make it as delicious as you like. The best way, in my opinion, to eat bread is warm, a couple minutes fresh out of the oven. It's delicious, and I hope you enjoy this recipe. You can ask questions if you need help. If you need help gathering the ingredients for this recipe, feel free to reach out to us. We will hook you up so that you can enjoy this delicious bread at home.